So we're joined now by Keli Thomson from Painting Rockets. Thanks so much for taking time to chat with us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Not
I'm
at
glad
all.
to be here.
Yeah. So the lockdown, how's that been going for you and for the band? Have you been able to do
I
much?
mean, I think lockdown's lockdown. I think it's probably been tough for quite a few people, myself included. I think it's quite hard to stay productive. I was saying this to someone earlier that, like, basically you're obviously at home here, you're wanting to chill here, you're trying to work here, you're trying to work out here, so everything is done in this one space. It's so hard to like mentally like compartmentalize like each thing
Yeah.
in the same space. So I mean, I have been productive, but probably not as productive as I wanted to be. But little wins right now is what's important.
That's good. And of course, you have a new song coming out tonight.
Yeah,
midnight tonight. And I know you had Luke writing on this one with you. What was it like having somebody else come in to write with you after you'd done most of the earlier stuff yourselves?
Yeah, no, it's been a really, really, really helpful process. I think me and Stephen sometimes needed to get out of our heads with the writing process. We were perfectionists. We would mull over things that were just so unimportant and so minuscule that we ended up taking so much longer to write and so much longer to get things finished. And we were also like pretty much focused on like the sort of emotional side of writing.
Yeah.
Luke's really good at like structuring and like being able to map out an intent without kind of getting too lost in the emotional side of writing. Obviously it's good to have that, but we kind of were unorganized with it, or disorganized, with it. So yeah, no, it's been really great. We've known Luke for a long time. We went to high school with him. We've been friends for a long time. So it's nice to finally collaborate with someone else and have somebody else like put in an unbiased opinion. That third person to kind of see something where maybe you'd be missing it because you're kind of attached to the work in a different way. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's really great, and we are continuing to work with him.
That's good. And your music as well, from when it started earlier on to what you're going to release tonight, how would you say your music has evolved over the past number of years?
It has evolved. Even the song in itself has evolved loads. I think Stephen has a video of when we first performed this, and it sounds like a completely different song. So it's a nice sort of map of where we've been and where we're going. So I'd say we obviously started off as like definitely like a primarily rock band, but we've just sort of allowed other influences to seep into our music. So it was definitely like heavier rock, I'd say, heavier alternative rock. But over the past few years, we've both been really much more inspired by pop music. I think there's a little bit of like, I studied music at uni, and I definitely found that in uni, pop music was not as favoured or not as highly looked upon, because obviously you've got the prejudice of it being, manufactured and all of this. So I kind of shut that out for a while. But as soon as I started open back up to the idea of like pop music, I was like, there's nothing wrong with this. It's good music, which is why it's popular. So we allowed those influences to seep in, and you can see every release has been differently influenced by what we've been listening to at the time. So yeah, it's definitely much more poppy, and I'm kind of glad for that.
Wonderful stuff. And one of the previous songs you had, I think, was it the last one you released, Boys?
That was the first one. So we've had like 4 singles in this new sort of phase. So Boys was over a year ago, but it was the first single of this lot. So we had Boys, and then Trial and Error, and Room to Breathe was the last one, and then this one. So yeah, it's been in this cycle. That was April, I think. Yeah.
So, but in that song as well, and I was actually talking to a band about this last week when it comes to rock music, yourself, like being a female fronting a rock band, there's often a lot of like preconceived notions towards when that happens, where you have people thinking it's kind of just gimmicky and things like that. And do you find it very hard to kind of fight through that?
Yeah, I think it does take a little bit more to be taken seriously. Like I've read other females in the industry having like similar experiences where, you know, they'll walk into load in with a band and they'll be telling the lead singer to leave the venue because they're just a groupie or something like that, or they're one of the fans. They don't actually see musicians as females as serious musicians, and it kind of is amplified in the fact that there's still a lack of women on lineups, which people have been saying for years. We've been screaming it into that void. So it is much harder. I think people do see it as gimmicky, and there's just the same kind of comparisons all the time, and there's kind of an underlying sort of prejudice with it as well. It's just, it's pretty frustrating. I think we're getting there. I think people are starting to listen, for sure. And people are making a bigger deal of it every year. You know, every time there's a new lineup, people are screaming about it. So I think it's getting better. It's still not there, but it's getting better.
No, because like you said, there is always a lot of comparisons always done to the same people that kind of, when you have a male-fronted rock band, they don't generally get compared to someone else in the same way. So, it's good that it's changing, but a long way to go yet.
Long way to go. But we're getting there. We'll get there.
So in terms of this this new song that's coming out as well, you were talking online about it being kind of a very personal song to you as well. And you were talking that it's been a long time in the making as well, musically. So can you tell us anything about what people can look forward to with it in terms of the lyrics and the music?
Yeah, so it has, I was kind of saying before, it's like been a journey in itself, this song. Like we wrote it 4 years ago and we played it live, I think for the first time in 2017. Yeah, I think it was. So 3 years ago. And it was a completely different song. We were just kind of, this was one of the first songs that we were trying out that pop sound.
Right.
It actually started as a Rihanna cover. Stephen to take big kind of pop songs and kind of put his own alternative or pop punk or pop rock vibe on it. He's done it with loads, but he started doing a Rihanna one, and I remember him showing me. I was like, hold on a second, like those sounds are really cool. Like what did you use? And I was like, the arpeggiator and the synths, and I was like, no, let's take these sounds, don't apply it to that cover, let's make our own song with the sounds that you've used, because it's really cool. And we changed obviously the chords and stuff, and changed the format of it and turned it into what it is now. But when we were first starting, we thought, right, this is going to be a different kind of genre for what compared to what we've been playing, because we put on metal lineups. We were in this weird sort of in between where we were placed on metal lineups, but we were too light for that. Then we were placed on like pop lineups, but we were too heavy for that. We were in this weird sort of mid ground.
Right.
When we eased up, it started to fit into the kind of more poppy scene, and we thought we need to try this out, see how like our fans are going to react to this, and see how it crowds. And it was really cool to see. Like every time we played it, I would hands down say that it gets the best response live. I remember looking up out stage once when we were playing it, and everyone in the crowd at one point was like bobbing their head, and I was like, oh wow, like we've not even released this yet, this is really cool. That was at King Tut's, I think, the second time we played it. But yeah, it's been on a long journey, and and lyrically as well, like you were saying, it is a bit of a heavy song. I think it's one of the first that we've really allowed ourselves to be kind of personally emotional, where we're not talking about, like, you know, Boys is quite a feminist song. Not talking about the bigger picture, we're talking about just yourself and how you feel. So it started about like romantic relationships, and it's kind of seeped, the lyrics have sort of had other topics bleed into it about like kind of strained family issues, and yeah, it's pretty heavy compared to like Trial and Error, which is fun and bouncy.
And is there any nervousness then when you're putting out something that is so personal, like you said, as opposed to something that's broader?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think it's probably not the worry, but it's probably the maybe worry. Maybe it's a worry that people might not relate to it in the same way, and I think people can see a song like Boys and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what feminism is, I understand what she's trying to say. When it's a bit more personal, obviously people inject their own feelings into it, and it's just hoping that somebody gets what I'm saying, or their own sort of meaning behind it. Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. And of course,
so.
you got to have a pretty cool recording session. Was it last year that you went down to Abbey Road?
2018. That was
2018.
that was for Boys. So we had that song ready to go, and we've got another song. We're not releasing that yet, but we recorded 2 down there. It was July 2018, so it was almost a couple years ago now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it was insane, and it's a very cherished memory for sure.
So a lot of fun going in there, I imagine.
Yeah, it sort of felt surreal. Like I was walking down, and obviously that's where they record a lot of the big movie soundtracks. And as you go into the main hall, there's a hall. There's posters in the wall in the hall that have all the posters from movies that have recorded their soundtracks there. So like Star Wars, Harry Potter, and it was all signed. And I remember being like, oh my goodness, like, why am I here? Like, I don't belong here. But yeah, it was cool. And the guys that we worked with, absolutely love them. All 3 of them were so cool, so fun, so welcoming, and so good to work with. And it was also the first time I'd worked with a female engineer as well. So it kind of
very good.
Put another sort of female in the room as well, which was amazing. And I had my friend Lauren down there as well. She was doing all the video work for it. So it was really nice to have women in that room as well. So it was really cool. Honestly, we'll never forget it, especially because the vocals for Boys were recorded on the same microphone that Lady Gaga used to record Born This Way, which was so cool. I started freaking out. I had to take like 5 minutes when they told me that. I was like, I can't use this microphone.
They could have told you after you were done recording.
Yeah. Well, they did also tell me after they told me that, and then saw how much I sort of was like, oh my goodness. And then after we finished, they were like, we didn't tell you, but David Bowie's also used that mic. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm glad you never told me that.
That's good.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Excellent. So like you said, you released Boys, which is down there, and you have another song that you haven't released yet that's upcoming. But in terms of, obviously, you have this song coming out tonight. You also have that other song in the bag as well. Is there more music coming out, or any updates on when you're planning to release anything else in the future?
No immediate plans, no. So this is like the last of these 4 songs. So that's Boys, Trial and Error, Room to Breathe, and In Your Name. We weren't sure if we were going to do it as an EP or not. We kind of pondered over how to release it, and then we decided singles was the way forward, because of the way we can promote them, the way we can sort of do shows around them, and just, you know, keep content coming over a longer period of time. So we decided to do it that way. So we kind of count this as our last out of the 4. It's song 4 of 4. It's the last out of this block, this era, if you wish. And once we're done that, we're putting it aside and we're starting to work on like this new kind of collective. We're hopefully going to do an EP in the future, maybe including the song that we recorded, Abbey Road. We've just not found the right time to record, to release that one. So yeah, like after this, we're getting hard to work. We've already been writing. We started doing a song the other day there that was, we've already kind of changed our genre already. It was indie pop, alternative rock with a bit of house. It's very, very different, but we're just excited to like be able to now move on and do something new. So yeah.
That's good. And obviously as well, just one thing with the lockdown and everything, all live music kind of cancelled for the time being. How tough is that for you to not be able to get out and play your songs?
So hard. I've been missing performance so much, especially because when you have a song that's coming out, what you want to do is have a gig to kind of promote it and to be like, hey, this is what this song sounds like live, come see us, sort of thing. And we can't do that right now. And honestly, like, I think live streams are really cool. Like, it's been fun. I've watched a few of them. I just don't feel comfortable doing them myself. I don't know what it is about it. I've not ever felt like that's in my comfort zone to sit and do that. And yeah, so I've not even had the little live stream to sort of put a band-aid over the fact of missing out live performance. It's just not the same. I kind of like vibing off a crowd and interacting with people in the audience. So yeah, it's hard, it sucks, but it's obviously an important thing to not be doing live music right now, because obviously things are quite scary. They've been obviously intense for a little while, and public health is much more important. So
there you go. But hopefully in the not too distant future that the live music will be back for everyone.
I'm praying, because I'm in a wedding band as well, so that's how I get my income. And I'm out every single weekend with that, and I can't even go out and do that just now. I miss it so much. I didn't think I'd miss singing ABBA, but here we are.
New appreciation for it when you go back.
I know I'll never complain about it again. Never, ever.
So just finally, one thing we like to ask people since they've been in lockdown, and that is, what music are you listening to yourself at the moment?
Obviously the new Hayley Williams, New Petals for Armour. Tom Misch brought out a new album, which was really good. There's been a lot of like cool local bands played as well. Like, so I've got someone called B Charlotte in Dundee. She's released a new song, which is great. My friend Emily, who runs the Name of Fourth Daughter, she has just released a new single called Run as well, which is so cool. I'm trying to, do you know when someone asks you what have you been listening to, and you sort of can't remember anybody else's name? But Leanne LaHavis as well, she's releasing new music and got a new album coming out next month, which I'm so excited for, because she's a major influence. I'm just trying to kind of see quickly on my Spotify what I've been listening to. Carly Rae Jepsen dropped an album as well, which was very good.
Good stuff. And obviously Stephen isn't with us today because he was a bit under the weather. How's he feeling?
Yeah, he's getting better, definitely. He's I think he's almost back up and running to normal. So yeah, he's doing well, fighting through it. COVID can't take him down. He's grand.
So good stuff. And the launch of the singles obviously at midnight tonight, so people can get over and have a listen to that. Thank you so much, Keli, for taking time out to talk to us today.
No, it's been great. Thank you so much for having me. That's so cool.
Not at all. Thanks so much.